Hello everybody, EzraTime here, and today I'm going to talk about High School of the Dead, which is an anime that was released in 2010, I believe, which is a long time ago. But it's definitely an anime that people does talk about, because I heard about High School of the Dead many times in my life, to be honest, because especially when the zombie apocalypse genre was actually really popular back in the day. But I just heard about it. I never actually a big fan of anime back in the day, so I didn't watch it. But I just recently finished watching 12 episodes alongside with the OVA or like OVA. Um, and safe to say, I love this anime a lot. And yeah, of course, people will say that the fan service. Yeah, the fan service is one thing, but I feel like this anime is just pure fun. In terms of the character and the action that. I actually give a shit for a lot of their backstory. I actually really wanted all of them to survive. But yeah, so we're gonna talk about the plot in general. I guess I'm just gonna go through over them. And before we continue further, I want to say that I probably can't show too much footage in the anime review because back in the day when I review a date or like a day of life, I think, right? That's the anime called. I got copy strike by Kadokawa once. So when you are getting copy strike, you have like 90 days before the copy strike got removed. So it's like, yeah, for those 3 months, I was actually like, my heart was like pounding that I was hoping that it didn't, like my other video doesn't get any copy strike because 3 copy strike, you're done. So thankfully, like nothing bad happened there, and the strike got removed after 3 months. So that's why I probably won't be using many footage or like image maybe because I'm afraid, man. I was afraid that it could get a strike for the video. I do not want that. So yeah, the anime starts really strong in my opinion because it doesn't waste any time at all. Like pretty much one of the first episodes, like you follow the main character immediately, like Takashi and Rei, and they're best friends. And it's like, yeah, I really like that it just starts immediately. It doesn't waste any time doing like the backstory for the character and like having some high school drama, because I was expecting that for the very first episodes, because I was like, okay, like they start up pretty quickly in the first one, okay, but after the song intro, I thought that's where the anime gonna slow down and then, like give us some backstory and then have some high school drama, but no, like immediately, like 5 minutes later, the zombie apocalypse immediately started, and I was like, damn, that was actually really really good, because I'm here to see the zombie apocalypse. Obviously, I'm here to see the character like fighting for survival and not exactly for the drama. Even though yes, there's gonna be some story and some drama later on, but I really like how the anime handles those backstory that they didn't like focus on that too much on the very beginning. Obviously you need to hook the people, and I think it's a really good decision for starting the first episode with the zombie apocalypse. As we as the character are trying to survive, we get to another episode. That's where we get to see our main group, like Takashi, Rei, Saiko, Kota, and Saya Takagi, and of course Shizuka Marikawa, which is like the I think the nurse of the school, which is just like a total fan service character, to be honest. But yeah, I think it's a great group. It's a great character for all of them. I think most of them are females, obviously, and obviously because most of them are females, you get a lot of fan service on this show. And I think that's one of the main draw for High School of the Dead. I'm not saying that it's the only draw because I feel like the characters are actually pretty well written in my opinion. Because I do care for their backstory, and even though that when people watching High School of the Dead, you were like, oh my god, this anime is amazing, the action is great, the character, yeah, I think they're good. They serve their purpose. They are easy to follow, and then they're not super complex, and that's fine. You don't need to make the character super complex every single time. But it's effective enough that to make you care for each character. You understand what they were going through and why they are acting this way. And I think it's really cool. And but at the same time, of course, you get the fan service. So it's like you were watching this, you were engaging with the action, and then you were like, damn, my sword right here is actually really hard now. Like I actually feeling hard when I was watching this anime. Yeah, I know that was embarrassing, but I gotta be honest, when I was watching this show, I was like, oh man, like this is great. Like I was engaged, but man, I feel hard at the same time. And it was like, oh, I see what people are saying, when they were talking about High School of the Dead, because that's what most people are saying, and that's a huge positive stuff for me. Yeah, I said that. But either way, guys, for the plot, for the characters, like I said before, they are engaging enough, and I do like how the show was paced, because obviously it start from the high school area, because obviously they're high schoolers, and eventually they get to a bus, they get to meet this antagonist of the series, Mr. Shido, right, which is just an absolute scumbag, which we're gonna get to that later, why he was a scumbag in the first place. But eventually they get out of the bus, they have to travel through the with foot, then like you get to the outside city, to get the outer parts of Tokyo, and because they wanted to meet their parents, whether they were alive or not. And so far, the only confirmation that we had that whose parents are still alive is actually I think Takagi's parents, like he would like her parents are still alive, and you learn that there is some tension between Takagi and her parents because apparently Takagi thinks that her parents doesn't exactly care for her and then doesn't really pay attention for her, but eventually she realized that, oh no, like her parents are really caring and loving for her, and then they always wanted the best for Takagi herself, and eventually it leads to this beautiful moment in the end where Takagi escaped, and then the parents, knowing that Takagi was escaping, they were actually relieved that, yeah, their daughter is safe now, so we can focus on killing these zombies, and then their fate are left unknown. And I think we're gonna left that unknown for forever, to be honest. Which again, I'm gonna get to that later. Why it was unknown forever? I feel like for the type of anime that actually has a lot of fan service, I do like how they managed to balance some of the big plot point with the fan service scenes. Like one of the best example for me is that when the girls are like taking their showers, all four of them, and then you got Takashi and Kota, right? Kota Hirano, where they basically just like discussing about guns, so it's like on one scene you got the girls just like doing many fan service stuff for the screen, and then you cut back to the boys that basically discussing about guns and then about their survival rate, so I do think that's a really good pace in my opinion, that it's not just focusing solely on the fan service stuff, but actually also focusing on the big plot point stuff, that okay, how are we gonna survive, like how many weapons that we have, what kind of weapon that we have, and obviously Kota Hirano is like the gun enthusiasm, because he was spending like a month I think on like a Delta Force team I think in America, if I'm not mistaken, and that's why he loved guns so much, and that's one of the things that I love about Hirano, because in the beginning he was like a nerd, and I was like, okay, it's gonna be like a typical nerd character that actually loved this hot girl Takagi, and then you realize that, oh no, this guy is actually resourceful, because in the beginning he has like he made like a nail gun, wasn't made because like the nail gun is already there, but like he's like modifying that nail gun so he can aim better, and I was like, damn, this guy is actually resourceful, and not just some nerdy guy that fall in love with the hot girl, because I was expecting that when I first see him, but I'm glad that he's not exactly that from the rest of the show. I actually love all the characters, and of course like Takashi and Rei, yes, I think they are the main lovers of the show, and I don't think they are great, even though maybe their story again is not as complex, because these two are making promise in the early days of their life, or in their childhood, where they make a pinky promise that they're going to marry together, but eventually that didn't exactly happen, obviously, because Rei is dating Takashi's best friend, because Takashi is like I don't know, like he's not that confident. I think he's always like in decisiveness, you could say that, he can exactly make his own decision or something like that. So this zombie apocalypse is actually making him like a true leader, that he is going to lead these people to safety no matter what. He is going to risk his life to make sure that his friend was safe, and that eventually become his character arc for the rest of the show. And I love that so much, and of course you get Rei, that actually, I don't know, to be honest, because I feel like I like her character, but not necessarily loving her that much, because I feel like she has a backstory that I actually really care about, which tying back to Mr. Shido, because Mr. Shido, the teacher, is actually the son of like a Japanese politician, but eventually, because Rei's dad is actually a cop, and then eventually her dad eventually figure out that, oh, like about their like corrupt politics, you could say that, and then eventually when the investigation is still going and they're trying to find evidence to basically put them in jail, Mr. Shido hold her back for like a year in high school, so obviously that's where it leads to Ray hating Mr. Shido, because in the beginning, when Mr. Shido is trying to enter the bus, Ray was like, no, like, don't help him. You're gonna regret for helping him. And yeah, eventually they're gonna start regretting that. But I feel like it is. I don't really feel the consequences that much, because even though Mr. Shido is like the main villain of the show, like, he didn't feel that menacing, to be honest. He just felt annoying. And I feel like, yes, the villain's supposed to be annoying, but I feel like they also have to be, like, I don't know, be a danger to our main character. But and I didn't feel the consequences for like taking him with the bus in the beginnings, because like at the end of the day, they seems fine. They eventually leave the bus and then like they get to the location anyway. And yeah, so either way, I think that backstory for Ray is fine. It works, but I feel like it's not the strongest part of the series. I feel like it's the weakest part in a way, because like I don't feel any threat from Mr. Shido. He seems like the kind of guy that just speak really well. But I guess that makes sense because he was the son of politician. Because that's what politicians do. They speak really well in public. But either way, we get to another character named Saiko Busujima, which I think my favorite girl in the show. Yeah, it's not Rei, it's not Takagi, it's not Shizuka, but it's actually Saiko, because I think Saiko is generally a badass, and honestly, Saiko and Takashi has some chemistry together, to the point that if they actually get together, I wouldn't mind, to be honest with you guys, because I feel, here's the thing. I know that the show is setting up Takashi and Rei to be like the main couple, and even I said before that they're like the main lovers in the series. But as the series go, you kind of see like a lot of similarities with Takashi and Saiko. And there is this one scene where I actually really love the scene a lot, because like Saiko is telling this backstory where she is almost gets sexual assault by a man, but eventually because she is like a master swordsman, and he decided to like lure the stalker in really close, and then once she got the chance, she actually like slice his arm, I think, the stalker hand, and really hurts him in a way, and obviously there's like blood everywhere. And it was like, whoa, okay, like that's actually her backstory that I actually care about, because it shows that, well, she has this idea for herself, or like has this feeling or like emotion in herself that she's actually enjoying hurting people in a way, and that's why uh when Takashi and Saiko alone, Saiko tell this story to Takashi, and then Takashi said that, well, you need to do what you need to do in the zombie apocalypse, because obviously Saiko has this doubt that she's going back to her old self in a way, that she's just enjoying hurting people. But eventually Takashi convinced her that no, like, you need to do this, because we need to survive, and then you have a really great sword skill. So it's like, yeah, like we need you back, you can't just be this like indecisive of yourself, like you need to make a right decision and kill these zombies, because even though they're kids, they're still zombies, so like you need to kill them no matter what. And because of that, Psycho fate, you could say, that was restored, and he's like embracing this side of herself, that to in order to protect the people that she loves, I do think that's a really good backstory for her. And that's why I feel like if Takashi and Psycho are getting together in the main story, I don't mind, to be honest, because I feel like they could be a good couple. And then in the OVA, Takashi and Psycho is like, I mean, it's not exactly Psycho. I think Takashi is just like hallucinating like everyone else, because it was revealed in the end that Psycho is like kissing Ray. I was like, oh, okay. But the fact that in the OVA, when Ray was like, when Takashi was like hallucinating, like he saw Psycho, even though it's not exactly Psycho, it's probably a zombie in a way, maybe, who knows, right? And I was like, oh damn, like they're actually making them canon, and eventually I realized that, oh, it's a hallucination all the time. But at the same time, Psycho is the first person that he saw on that hallucination. So I was like, okay, maybe Takashi is actually liking Psycho more than Ray. Maybe, who knows? Either way, I think if Takashi and Psycho are getting together, I wouldn't mind. I'll be happy for them. And as for Takagi, as I said before, like her backstory is also fine. Like she despised her parents and stuff like that, but it was fine. And eventually they reconcile in the end. And then you got Shizuka, which I think is just like a fan service of the show, because she doesn't get to do much, to be honest, because I feel like she's just there to be hot, and that's it, like she's, for a teacher, for like a nurse, she's pretty dumb, and sometimes it was pretty annoying because like she was so calm about the whole situation, and I was like, lady, the entire world is like ending right now, why are you so calm, and I hate this type of character sometimes in anime where it's like everything around them is like falling apart, but like they just stays calm, and like be girly the entire time. I was like, okay, but I feel like Shizuka has enough quality in a character that actually, like, she's a great driver. That's all I can say. Like, she's a really great driver. So at least there's that. There is some usefulness for her character. So I wouldn't mind at the end of the day. And then you also got this little girl, that the group managed to save, named Alice Maresato, which I think is a great addition to the group, because here's the thing, like all the characters have some backstory, but I feel like Alice really adds I would say adds the emotion and the heart for the group, because obviously you don't want anything bad happens to this girl, and obviously this girl just witness her dad just get stabbed and die in front of her eye, and eventually this group take her in, and eventually Alice build a bond, with the rest of the group that she actually care for the rest of our friends, So I was like, yeah, it's a great addition to the group, because it adds a lot more emotion, and feels that, yeah, even though this is like a zombie apocalypse, every man is for themselves in a way. They are, they choose to make a decision to save this little girl, and they have this great idea. They're saying that, oh, we're still human, we're not like the other group of people that basically care for themselves and only for themselves, even though that's probably illogical for this situation. But I do like that moments where they realize that, oh, we're still human, we are going to save this little girl, I don't think that's a fantastic idea in my opinion, So yeah, man, I love this series so much, I love how they managed to balance fan service and them being a badass the entire time. I mean, I love all the girls in the show, but I feel like Psycho is my favorite girl, So let me know, guys, who is your favorite waifu from High School of the Dead? Let me know. Is it Psycho, Rei, Shizuka, or Takagi? So let me know about that, in the comment section below. And before that, I want to say that, well, it's really sad that I always thought that High School of the Dead is like an anime only story, but eventually I found out that it's actually based on a manga. And sadly, the author of High School of the Dead, Daisuke Sato, sadly passed away in 2017. So the series left unfinished, So that's a sad part about the series, And I think the manga went on hiatus for like a long time in 2010 and 2011, and like I think he released like one chapter in 2013, and then we never see any more update from 2013 to 2017, and eventually he passed away in 2017. So, and yeah, man, it sucks, because I feel like I really wanted to see a continuation for the story, because I do care for the character. There is so many more plot points that I wanted to see, like what happens to Rei's dad, what happens to Takashi's parents, like what happened to the rest of the parents, besides Takagi. So the only one where she saw her parents were still alive, and even though in the end, like their fate was left ambiguous, but I'm positive that they were supposed to be alive because they are a badass, and I wanted them to be alive. But right now, we are truly never find out if the Takagi's parents were alive or not, because again, the series was left unfinished, and so far we only have 30 chapters, so it's like, yeah, this is a sad reality, because I feel like I really wanted to see the story continue and to see how it all ends, and hopefully it's a happy ending. But right now, we are truly never know what happened to their parents, and that we're never gonna know what is the ending, is it gonna be a happy ending or is it gonna be a really tragic ending in the end? So yeah, it really sucks, man. It really does, because I want to see the continuation for the story. I guess they could adapt the rest of the chapter if they wanted to, but then again, the anime industry right now is having a really big problem, because recently a show like Zom 100, which is like another zombie show recently that I like, it gets delayed multiple times, so it's like, yeah, maybe it's not the best to continue High School of the Dead, but they definitely could, they definitely could adapt the rest of the remaining chapters, even though it's never finished. But that's probably not gonna happen, sadly. Yeah, guys, either way, guys, I love this anime. If you can tell already, I'm enthusiastic to talk about this anime because I just love them, I just finished watching them, so it's like, yeah, it's fresh in my mind. I love them, I love the characters. I love the story for like the backstory for the character. I think they are effective enough, and I do like the action sequences. It's really, really fun to watch, seeing these high school kids being a bunch of badass, just trying to survive in a zombie apocalypse is amazing in my opinion. Let me know, guys, in the comment section below. Have you guys watched High School of the Dead? If you guys haven't already, then go watch it. It's only 12 episodes long, and there is an OVA, like one episode they got released, so go watch that. It's really worth your time. If you love some fan service stuff in anime, you guys definitely gonna love this. But at the same time, if you love action and then like a good story for the character, I think you guys gonna love it, in my opinion, because it just sucks that it left unfinished. But hey, I guess we have to be happy to what we have got, for High School of the Dead, So yeah, go watch the anime if you haven't already. Let me know in the comment section below, guys. What do you guys think about High School of the Dead? Who is your favorite character? Who is your favorite waifu? Once again, I would love to hear your opinions. Mine is Psycho. Who is yours? And yeah, guys, if you guys enjoyed this review, then leave a like, comment, subscribe. Shoot that subscribe button, and then stay tuned for more videos in the future, guys. And again, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Then, bye.